Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to be reviewing part 2 of the Celestial Toymaker, which I believe is called the Hall of Dolls. Now, I did watch the loose cannon Reconstruction, which again is very well done. The work that has to go into putting those together looks time consuming, because I do believe not a lot of actual telesnaps of Celestial Toymaker exist. I think a lot of it's production stills that have been tweaked and edited. Like somebody, has done stuff in Photoshop to help make them fit what's going on. So definitely a big well done to the people who work on those loose cannon reconstructions, because it looks really good. As to the story, I enjoyed this episode. As I mentioned in part 1, I like the very fantasy setting of it, much like the Mine Robber. I'm a huge fan of the Mine Robber, so I like this very surreal fantasy vibe that this story has. I have, as I mentioned before, read the Target novelization, but it was back in the 90s, so it's very hazy in my memory. I like that this is pretty much Dodo and Steve. The Doctor is only at the beginning of it, because I do believe Hartnell's on holiday in episode 2. And there's not really a lot of the Toymaker in it either, just a little bit in there. As much as I love me some Michael Goff, his story is more of what's going on with the Doctor. I like the guest cast. The actor playing the King, I love this kind of voice he talks with. It took me a minute to place it. It reminds me a lot of Stephen Fry in Blackadder, the Cavalier Years, when he's playing like King Charles. And he has that way of talking, and I think people I love Blackadder. I don't know if I've mentioned that a lot on the channel, but I love Blackadder. It's one of my favorite television shows. I love the Cavaliers Years special. So once it clicked in my head, that's what that was from. It had me chuckling a lot. I liked, you had the Knave, the Fool, and of course the Queen. And I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure the actress playing the Queen is the actress that plays Edith on LOLO. And I love LOLO. It's not just Doctor Who. I like several British shows that I grew up watching on PBS when I was younger in the 80s and 90s. And I love LOLO. It was actually on Netflix for a bit, about 2 or 3 years ago, and I watched the whole show again. I love Edith with her singing. You have to put the cheese in her ears. I'm pretty sure that's her. I remember she's also in Invasion of the Dinosaurs as well with John Pertwee, but I'm pretty sure that's her playing the Queen of Hearts. And I like her as an actress. So I enjoyed the guest cast in this. I like that the episode focuses on Dodo and Steven, especially since I want to see more of Dodo anyway. I enjoy the kind of rapport they have going, and them trying to figure out the riddle, trying to figure out the right chair, trying to use the dolls effectively, and not knowing what was going to happen, because again, I only remember a little bit about the novel. It's been so long since I read it. So trying to remember what all happened. I wasn't sure if the dolls were representative of like the King, the Queen, and the Knave. I thought, well, maybe if they put the King doll in there, the King actually gets killed. I wasn't sure how it was going to jump, or that the King and Queen might not be very good people and would try to toss Stephen and Dodo in the chairs to test them out. But they didn't do that either. I actually love at the end that when it comes down to the King and Queen having to pick a chair, they don't turn on each other. I kind of wondered if they would turn on each other and attack each other, try to force one another into the chair. But instead, they choose to sit in a chair together. I liked that. I'm still not quite 100% certain if the fictional characters, like the King and the Queen and the Fool and the Knave, whether they are just originally fictional characters kind of brought to life by the Celestial Toymaker, or whether they were real people who lost previous games and have now become trapped in his universe to use at his whim. I'm still, I think that's kind of up to your own headcanon. I don't know if it ever fully explains that. Again, it's been a long time since I read the novel. So perhaps they really were a real couple at one point, and them kind of expressing that love for each other, testing the chair together. I really liked that. Of course, they chose the wrong one, but I liked the fact that they picked one together. So they at least both had a shot at surviving. So yeah, this episode again is mostly about that. I did enjoy it. Of course, it was a recon, completely a recon. A lot of stories, there's a little bit of footage in there, but I haven't seen any. It's all been recon. But a really well done recon. So I liked it. Being halfway through the story now, I like the surreal feel of it. I like the fantasy setting, much like the mine robber. It's been a little fun, and I think that kind of minimalist approach lends itself well to that classic Doctor Who budget, especially in black and white. I think it's pulled off very effectively. So that's my thoughts on The Hall of Dolls, episode 2 of the Celestial Toymaker. I'd like to know, what do you think of it? So comment down below and let me know. Other things to do, click the like button and the subscribe button. That helps me out. One of my goals this year is to grow the channel to 1,000 subscribers. I do want to hit that in 2023. So if you watch regularly and haven't subscribed yet, I would certainly appreciate that. Don't forget to give me that thumbs up as well. That helps me out with the algorithm. I also have a Patreon. If you like what I do and would like to support what I do, that does help me keep bills paid. There is a link to that down in the description below. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Colin Coney, Stephen Crane, and Dr. Finn Perkins. I appreciate their continued support as I do the support of all of my patrons. I also have a link to my P.O. Box, I have a link to my Amazon wish list down there as well, and my P.O. Box is listed down there as well if there's anything you would like to send me to look at and review. I would love to get like a fan-made copy of the Celestial Toymaker with like some Region 1 art, just burned on a disc with like the loose cannon reconstructions in the surviving episode 4 with like, I'm sure somebody's done up like Region 1 art for it, and to get that. And some of the other missing stories like Underwater Menace, like a good recon of Underwater Menace, kind of done up in a fan-made box that's like, it would just fit right on the shelf with the others. That would be cool. If anybody's really good at technical stuff and wants to do that, that would be awesome. I would like that. Most importantly though, thank you for watching.